So, morning everyone. Today I'm going to introduce myself and my related course, and also share about some experience for attending the international conference. Okay, so the course you enroll in the human interface. Okay, so for my outline today, first of all, I will briefly introduce myself, and then I will talk about the areas of my research interest and share the past research issue and past experience for attending the international conference. Okay, and finally is Q&A. So I have sent a message to you in the last class. You guys will share about yourself by 3 minutes. Okay. So that is the final part. Okay. So about my education background, all my academic degree come from industrial engineering and management, and I get my PhD degree in Department of IEM, National Tsinghua University in 2009. And I got my master degree and bachelor degree in Institute of Industrial Management, National Central University and NTUSP in 2002 and 2000. And for study abroad experience, and when I was a PhD student, I remember at that time I got a scholarship from the National Science Council, and I went to Department of Industrial Engineering, Texas Tech University, to be a visiting scholar. And in that time, just like some students for exchange program, travel a lot. I also travel a lot, and but finally I published a paper in economics with my advisor in Texas Tech University. Okay, about the experience, and currently I'm a professor and chair in IEM University, and I was a professor in our department since 2024, and I was also an adjunct professor in Institute of Space System Engineering, National Yangning Jiaotong University in 2025. That is why my students have some research topic in the Rocky Lunch. And I used to be the associate professor in IEM and KUST from 2021 to 2024. And I also served as associate professor in IEM and CUT and IEMI Prof University. Okay, and when I got my PhD degree, I go to Chongyuan Christian University, okay, to be a postdoctoral researcher in industrial and system engineering department. Okay. And finally is my military service. I was a second lieutenant in ROC Marine Corps. That is why I'm familiar with Kaohsiung, because when I was young, my troop is in Joyin. And my title is chief counselor, so my duty is help my men to solve their mental problem. And about the academic service, currently I'm the executive member of Visual Economics Technical Committee, International Economic and Human Factor Association, IEA. And I also I used to be a co-chair in Professional Standard and Education Committee. And right now, I'm still the executive director of Economic Society of Taiwan. Okay, so this is our human factor society in Taiwan. And I also serve as a director and organizational committee chair. And finally, for the program, for most program, for our IEM program, I used to be the member of training committee, foresight and innovative technology, IEM. Right now it's an STC. also economics and design subprogram, IEM, NSTC. And these are the photos attend international conference. The right figures are happened before the COVID-19. So 2019, now we are 2018 in Italy. And also this is after the pandemic, we cannot have the physical meeting, so we have the online meeting to present our Taiwan EST. And as you know, we will have a big annual meeting, annual conference, the Chinese Institute of Industrial Engineers in November 29th. Okay, so I'm the organizer for this conference, and I also was the organizer for 2020 annual meeting of Economic Society of Taiwan. Okay, in that time it is a online conference. Okay, due to a pandemic. And I was also the director and editor-in-chief in EST Bulletin and effective secretary, and also I used to be the session chair in the annual meeting of EST and the CIE, and also a reviewer for many journal paper related to human factors. Okay, so also talk about my past experience for the international conference from the student, PhD student, and to be a teacher. Okay, and PPCOE 2010 in Kaohsiung, okay, and Pacific Conference on Economics, and also EAEFS 2011, okay, in Hsinchu, and HEPS. This is a conference for healthcare system and economics and the patient safety. Okay, 2014. And finally is the visual economic parallel session in IEA 2021. And for teacher, the funding is very important, especially for the NSTC funding. NSTC, the National Science and Technology Council. So you can see in the past 5 years or 10 years, I have funding from the NSTC. So in 2020, this 3 years funding, I got a nomination from the Economic and Design Sub-Program for the diode memorial award. Although finally I did not get the award, but I was the nominator. Okay? And in 2018, I got the Excellent Host Award in IEM Most. Okay? And you can see for the past 5 years, all of my research related to the display, 3D TV, 3D image quality, visual performance, okay? Image quality. Okay, for government and industrial academia cooperative project in the past 5 years, this index is also important for the teacher because we hope to get funding from the industry. So I'm the co-chair in construction of human factor system for new trainer of RC Air Force. I'm the co-chair in the sub-project 3, focus on influence of training on attention and analysis for digital control interfaces. And also some project from my previous school, and also the USR project, okay? And also the corrective project from the Formosa Recipe Group. Finally, get funding from the E3 economic evaluation on light pollution. Okay, so this is my publication. Currently, I have published 28 journal papers. Most of them are published in HCI, SCI journal, and some of them come from the International Journal of Industrial Economics and also virtual reality and economics, economics display in the journal XIV. Okay, so about the award, in recent years, I got the excellent research and the teaching award in NKUSP and CUT. And just like I say, I got the nomination from the IEM department for the IO2 Memorial Award and the Excellent Poster Award in 2019. And for a college student research scholarship, I think that is important because for students, we help a student to get a scholarship from the, you can see in 2012 and 2015 to 2024. Okay. And I also encourage students to attend the student competition. So from the 2012 to 2023, I help my students to get a best paper award. Some of them get the award in CIE and also in EST. And finally, is funding from the National Science Council with Texas Tech University. Okay, this is my award in the last 5 years. These two are gotten from the EST, and this is the best paper award. Okay, so after I introduce myself, I think you guys can understand my area of research interest. So that is human factors, human-computer interaction, and I focus on the visual economics. And I have done a lot of research in visual economics evaluation in LCD, electronic table display, mobile display, 3D display, and motion sensing game, and also construct the aviation interface. Okay. So this is related to the academic research. And another part is the economic evaluation in AR/VR. That is industrial academia for grading project. When I teach in my previous school, I have a lot of collaboration with Formosa Graduate Group. That is, there is a Formosa Graduate Technical Training Center. It's in Yunnan. Okay, so we try to use the AR/VR scenario technique to help them to train the employees. Okay, so that we can decrease the cost. Okay, and reduce the money investment. Okay. So that is my brief introduction to myself. Okay, I think the time is not too long, so but maybe some students fall asleep. Okay, so right now I try to introduce my past research. Okay, okay, so I think group six will also report this paper. Okay, so this is my research topic. Apply a signal detection theory and the ROC curve in evaluating 3D baseball game. Okay, so let's talk about the motivation behind this study. Okay, so when I was young, I loved to play baseball. Okay, even in the graduate school, I always played baseball with my colleague, not colleague, my classmates, the graduate team. So I'm thinking about that if I can incorporate my habit to academic research. I think that will be very good, and I have some achievement. So I find a lot of research material, and I think if you guys from the undergraduate program, so you understand I teach a signal detection theory before. Okay, so I try to use the baseball game into the signal detection theory. and also the procedure and the interaction between the teacher and the mentor, also 跟答题者之间的互动，is also fit the four outcomes of signal detection theory. Okay. So that is why I use the basketball game to then research, and I also published this paper in the International Journal of Industrial Economics in 2019, and also Journal of Technology, that is Chinese version. Okay. So if you remember the signal detection series, you know that. If you understand the signal detection theory, please raise your hand. Okay. 忘记了。Okay. So I think some of students maybe remember the signal detection theory. Okay. So you can see. So this is the two distribution. The right one is the signal of distribution of the signal. The left one is the distribution of the noise. And in the real world, signal and noise often overlap. Okay, cannot tell very clearly. Okay, so if the x is your judgment, okay, you consider that to the right of x. Consider it is the signal, and to the left of x, you consider it is noise. Okay, but in the real situation, the right one is the signal, the left one is the noise. So there will have four possibilities, four outcomes. Okay, so I use the example for the interaction between the teacher and the mentor, 投手跟打击者之间的那个投打对决，然后把它带到这个模型里面。Okay, so to the right of x, we consider it is signal, and you can see the white part. It means hit. Okay, hit means the pitcher. Okay, the pitcher give a strike, and the batter, the hitter, receive this information and swing. And even swing and miss were included. Okay. So 这个就是那个好球来了就打，那就是曾经风名媛球来就打这个是好球啦，那他也确实也会放，那就是 hit。Okay, so miss means that the pitcher gives the strike. Okay, the batter receives this information and did not swing. Okay, so miss the strike. Okay, about the false alarm, this is more important. And about the definition, the pitcher gives a ball, but the batter receives this information and swing. Okay, so in the beginning it looked like a strike, but finally the ball hit the home plate. Sometimes it drops rapidly and become a ball. Okay, so right now, I think you guys may know the superstar Shohei Ohtani in LA Dodgers. I think he has a famous split finger ball. We also call it splitter. Okay, so in the beginning it looked like a baseball strike baseball, but when approaching the home plate, it dropped rapidly. Okay, so also Shohei Ohtani has a sweeper. Okay, sweeper is also his weapon. Okay, so this is a false alarm. Okay, about the correct rejection means the pitcher gives the ball and the batter receives this information and did not swing. Okay. So the four outcomes, the four possibilities of signal detection theory also fit the interaction between the pitcher and the hitter. Okay. And you can see this is famous baseball game 全民打棒球 in 2007. Okay, that is the 2D version in the desktop. Okay, and this is the Nintendo 3D case. It can show the photo stereoscopic image directly without wearing glasses. Okay, so we investigate the two independent variables. Okay, the first one is the display interface, 2D and the photo stereoscopic 3D, and also we investigate the pulse speed, okay, because it has a default different pulse speed we can choose, and the operation time, according to previous research, different gender have different tolerance for the watching the 3D content or 3D videos. So we set a different operation time. Okay. And for dependent variables, just as I introduced before, it means correct rejection of false alarm possibility were measured in this study. And also we can calculate the D prime. Okay. And the D prime means the distance between the two distribution. Also the beta value, that is the ratio of signal and noise. And since we have done the 3D experiment, so SSQ simulator sickness questionnaire and also IQ presence questionnaire was suitable to measure the humans, their performance and their feeling about the 3D image. Okay, so this is my first study, try to incorporate my habit and into the academic research, especially for ergonomics. Okay. And then the result of this study show that the higher hit rate, visual fatigue, and IPQ were found in 3D technique. Okay, so 3D technique provide another visual cue compared to the 2D. It can improve the hit rate, but also increase the visual fatigue. So SS2 is higher for the 3D technique. Okay, and also I use the ROC curve. Okay, that is also a method to make sure your participants misjudgments. Okay, so you can see the X and Y means the false alarm rate and also the hit rate. And you can see most of the sample fall inside the upper left point. It also means that the accuracy of this research is considered reliable and misjudgments was low. Okay. So ours is based in check about your sample data. Okay. So in this study, because 3D technique can provide a good performance, so we recommend maybe a 3DS. If you can use it with a 3D mode, it's okay, but you have to avoid a long period of time frame. Also about the recommendation about the pulse speed. Okay, so since this study, we have done this study, and I also encourage my master student to make the extension. Okay, so my student in MCUT, I asked him to investigate all independent variables, such as the age group. Okay, so we have the young adult, middle-aged adult, and senior citizen. Okay, and when you play the game, sometimes you will have the background music. Sometimes you will not have. So background music, we set up the 4 levels: not light, pop music and rock music. Okay, so we use the BPM beats per minute to set the different levels. And then we still use to investigate the 2D and the auto stereoscopic 3D mode. Okay, so you can see from the ROC curve, okay, you can see that the young adult perform better than middle-aged adult, and also perform better than the senior citizen. Okay, it is meet our expectations. Okay, you can also see the area below the ROC curve, AUC. Okay, and also you can see this is the significant factors in each dependent variables. So the background music was significant. Okay, but you can see from the post-hoc analysis, rock music has a significant difference compared to other three kind of music. So it is also, I think, also in our expectations. Okay, so this is my first study. Okay, I would like to introduce to you. So, do you have any questions? Any questions? Listen, you have already listened, right? Yeah, but sometimes we can make the extension from the research when you repeat and repeat. Okay. Okay, so I will introduce my second research topic is applying the boundary theory in selecting the image quality factors of 3D TV. Okay, so this study also related to the 3D image quality, but we use some method like the boundary logic, boundary limits, and the ALP. Okay. So in the beginning, I try to check the literature review and find some factor in affecting the 3D image quality. Okay. So after the summary of the literature, I select the 8 factors: contrast, resolution, shadow, viewing angles, and color gamma luminance, binocular disparity, and crosstalk as the factor in the layer of the AFP. Okay, and then I try to make the classification. Okay, so I use the Farnese algorithm. Okay, try to classify the 8 factor into 3 layers. Okay, so we can use the Farnese mean, and you can also use the factor analysis. Okay, a lot of method K-means you can make the group, make the classification. Okay, so I named it the clarity to represent the contrast, resolution, and shadow, and colorfulness to represent the color gamma, luminance, color gamma and viewing angle, and the 3D characteristics to represent the luminance, binocular disparity, and crosstalk. Okay. So I think in this layer, these 3 components, these 3 criteria are independent with each other, because I use the method to classify the group. So it should be independent for each group. Okay, but for this 8 factor, sometimes they will have an interaction. For example, the luminance and the contrast. These 2 factors have higher interaction because the formula, okay, for the contrast is part of the luminance. Okay. So this part it should be dependent, okay, for each factors. So since if you use the AHP analytical hierarchy process or the ALP analytical network process, the two methods, but ALP is trying to solve the problem when there is a dependent situation happen inside the architecture. Okay, so but if this layer sub criteria or the factor is independent with each other in this sub criteria, I think you can use the AHP, okay, general way. But if there is correlation among them, so I think the ANP should be a good method to construct an architecture. Okay. And also, we use the 5 logic. As you can see, right now we have, in this situation, we have 7 different points or 9 different points. But sometimes, participants, the human, maybe they will have the judgment, for example, between the 5 and 6, like 5.5. And but in each situation they cannot apply. So we use the logic, body logic, okay, to calculate a score. They could be 5.5 or 5.6. Okay. Okay. So to make the judgment fit the human procedure or human thinking. Okay. So finally, we can calculate weight in all layers except for the goal. Okay. So we have the alternative. We choose the 3D TV to 3D TV in the economics experience, and I use, for example, 3D TV. I show the contrast resolution. I show some standard image, and I adjust the contrast resolution shadow to let the participant make the decision which TV is better. So I can get the weight of the TV, okay, and I still can get the weight of the about the sub criteria, okay, sub criteria, okay. So you can see the binocular disparity, crosstalk, and the resolution for the top 3 sub criteria, okay. And I also can get a weight for the criteria. Okay, so participant consider correctly is most important, and then is 3D characteristic, and the final is the colorfulness in the 3D image part. Okay, so this is my second research topic. Okay, try to use body seeing classification method and ALP analytical process network. Okay. Okay, so any questions for this kind of topic? Okay, so maybe I will introduce the last topic. Okay, the last topic. The last topic, I think this topic is more interesting. Okay, so this is the design for aviation interfaces. Okay, and the experimental setup is in Chongyuan Christian University when I was a postdoc in Chongyuan Christian University. Okay, so we have a project about aviation. So you can see we asked the pilot and the ATC, air traffic controller, to our experiment, okay, our laboratory. Okay, so I remember in the beginning, because we asked the pilot, okay, and ATC, National uh, Taoyuan Airport, the ATC. So I remember when the two pilots come to our lab. Okay, the first word they say, "Oh, your setup is like a real scenario when we are working." So when we heard this, we are very happy. It also means our experimental setup is okay. Okay, so you can see this is the main screen for the aviation. This is the runway. Okay, and we use the flight management 2004 software. Okay, to simulate the airport. Okay, and you can see we also use the throttle. Okay, the yoke. Okay, we buy the yoke, throttle, and also the paddle to control the direction of the aircraft. Okay, so that is why the pilot, when they come to our lab, they say that, oh, your setup is like a real. Okay, and also you can see this is a pilot is the first officer, the just. The first officer used the touch screen. So we use the C++ language to form this interface, and then the first officer can push the buttons, and the information will be sent to the ATC side. Okay, so this is the ATC frame. They can see that. So make a communication. Okay. So in this study, okay, we investigate the three independent variables. Okay. The first one is the median. Okay. In general, in the air traffic control communication, the best way is use the voice. Okay. But some, because one channel they may have 5 or 6 aircraft, so they will have the congestions. So we are thinking about that if we can use the data link, okay, just like a line interface or MSN. When we used to use this kind of interface software when we are young. Okay, so we make the comparison, different medians, okay, and also flight phase. Okay, you can see we choose the airport from the RCTB to the RCKH. Okay, RCTB means the Taipei, RCKH means Kaohsiung. Okay, so about 1 hour flight. Okay, from Taipei to Kaohsiung. Okay, and we set up a different period. You can see the climb period, the cruise period, and the descent. Okay, so we also have we set up departure, cruise, and arrival. So make it more detailed. For departure, they will have takeoff. Okay, time. Okay, for the arrival, we have the detailed stage like the descent and the approach. Landing. Okay. Okay. So during the 1 hour flight, we we collect a lot of data. First one is acceptance questionnaire in the beginning and after landing, and we also because they try to use this interface, and we use the usability scale to evaluate. This interface is good or not. Okay, and also the socket 1, 2, 3, 4. The 4 period we use the socket. I think the characteristic, the famous way for the target is that you have to follow the screen temporarily and ask some participant to give the evaluation immediately. Or if you finish all the procedure and after landing, you ask the pilot in the crime situation, what is your feeling? Maybe they forget it. So Sage is famous for the characteristic like follow the screen and fill out the questionnaire immediately. So Sage, four periods. And also the NASA TOX. It is also the famous scale for evaluating mental workload. Okay. So role, we also investigate the different role. Okay. So pilots. Okay. We all invite the pilot. So pilot flying and the pilot not flying will consider. Okay. So I remember in that time, you can see pilots are very busy and they have higher salary. They can earn a lot of money per month. Do you have any idea how much money a pilot can earn per month? I think more than 200,000 $90 for pilot. Okay. So I asked the pilot, they can get about near $300,000 per month. Okay. And about the first officer, maybe half of them. And half of them, they still have $150,000. Okay. So in that time, I was a postdoc. I'm thinking about that. If I cannot find a faculty position in the university, I want to be a pilot. Okay, but they have a lot of. You need to take a lot of time to the company will train you as a qualified. But I'm thinking about that. If I cannot find a job in the university, I want to be a pilot. Okay. Fortunately, after this experience, I get a job in Prof University. Okay. So you can see they have higher salary, they get a higher pay. So we ask them to come to our lab to conduct the economic experience. I think it is not. Maybe they will not have so many. They are not willing to come because they get a high salary, and if they can come, maybe they just finish the trip from, for example, Taiwan to Francisco, Taiwan to Vienna. So other time is their resting time. Okay, so and we give them not enough money. I remember 1 hour for $1,000. Okay. For student, I think that is a good pay, right? $1,000 per hour. Okay. 小时1000块可以了吧？但是对那个月薪30万的人来讲的话，1000块根本就没什么感觉嘛。好 ，OK。So, but we have a cooperation with the China Airlines. So the senior pilot, okay, ask the freshman, the pilot or their friends to come to our study. Okay, so that is why they are here. Okay, and also we ask the senior ATC air traffic controller in Taoyuan International Airport. Okay, so he also gives us a lot of advice when conducting this simulated experiment. Okay. And also we designed the aviation interface. So you can see this is the first officer press the touch screen, and then in the beginning they have to type the instructions. Okay, but sometimes we think maybe some they have maybe they used to some high frequency buttons. So we just help them to design maybe the high frequency instruction for them to choose in terms of replace of typing. Okay, it can decrease their working time and also make the communication more immediately. Okay. So we set up some interface with the instruction with high frequency. Okay. So I think maybe other group will report these articles in the future. So I have a lot of impression in this study. Okay. So in that time, yeah, just like you say, the pilot gave us a aircraft model. One model costs maybe $3,000. Because the pilot, I remember he bring 6 or 5 model. That is for souvenir for customers. So we get a lot of free model. That is good connection in student, researcher, and the pilot, and the PC. Okay. Okay. Oh, time is up. So, do you have any questions? Okay. So, next class I will introduce more relaxed topic. Okay, talk about if you attending the international conference, so some perspective you should consider. Okay, and then I will ask the student to introduce yourself. Maybe less than 3 minutes since we have 30 students in the class. Okay. Okay, so let's take a break.